Hi there guys, this is Max with Family Piano Co. and today I have something pretty special for you. This is a Kawai K800 upright. It's actually the tallest one that Kawai makes, 53 inches, and this is one, if you've been researching the very best upright pianos you can get, specifically the very best Japanese upright piano you can get, this guy definitely has crossed your purview, because it's just extraordinary. So it's made entirely in Japan in Hamamatsu, and it has a lot to offer. It's pretty rare for us at least to have this in stock and ready to show. I've been working here about 3.5 years, and this is the first one that I've seen in my time. So if you're interested, I would definitely call ahead to the piano dealer that you're wondering whether they have it, and make sure that it's there, because it's pretty rare to find, but oh man, is it great. So what I'm going to talk about largely from a player's perspective, I'll get into a little bit of the materials and everything like that goes into this, but largely I just want to talk about this. I feel the most value I can add is from a piano player's perspective. So to kind of start off, this is a really big upright piano, and it can reach the strength, I would say, comparable to around a 5.5-foot grand piano. So for most folks considering something like this, you're probably, you probably don't have the space for a grand piano, but you want the very best of sound and touch that you can possibly get. So this is gonna just about be it in terms of just how great an upright piano can both play and sound. So a couple of the things that I really love, of course, we have our carbon fiber action, which I've talked about a bunch of times on this channel. It's really just extraordinary. One, it's real nice, and I don't want to say lightweight, because that can imply that it's like too lightweight, and it's definitely not. It's a really good balance. It's on the lighter side, but nowhere near like overkill on that. I would say it falls around the 40th percentile in terms of weighting. So definitely lighter than the majority, but nowhere near too light that you're sacrificing any control. The carbon fiber, of course, in addition to all the durability benefits of having certain parts in the action replaced instead of wood, carbon fiber, they just replace the parts that aren't going to contribute to the sound of the piano, and really just have mechanical functions, and therefore carbon fiber is just a much better conveyor of energy. It degrades much less than wood. It withstands humidity and heat fluctuations a lot better, and the effect of that is everything's going to be super consistent, and not just consistent on day one. It's going to stay consistent for a lot longer, which overall is a really nice boost to longevity on this piano. But the carbon fiber, a couple other things that it does, compared to a grand piano, uprights in general are going to be lighter weight. But in terms of note repetition, because it's so accurate, note repetition just goes incredibly well. I mean, check out these, the trills. Even tremolos. They're gonna come out about as close to effortless as they can. I mean, obviously technique-wise, it's not easy to do, but this is gonna give you just about the most support it possibly can. Of course, it plays quiet dynamics incredibly well because it's such an efficient transfer of your energy, and every key is just so consistent that you feel very confident that, if you're looking for a pianissimo note, you're gonna get it, based on your input. it can be difficult to play that quietly and ensure that every note is gonna sound when you want it to. On a carbon fiber action, that's just a lot easier to do. It's easier to voice, different parts of the music. So if I want a firm bass and I want, a nice melody that can be heard on top, but I want a real subtle sound in the middle, overall, it's just a kind of touch that does exactly what you want it to do, and that's exactly what you want as a piano player. You don't want your piano to frustrate you. You don't want it to stand as a wall in between you and your expressiveness. So this is a very workable action. I would argue it's one of the very best that I've ever played on. I mean, I love this carbon fiber action. It is a subjective thing. It does take a little bit of time to really get used to, not very long, but there's going to be a couple of things. It is pretty sensitive, and that's a good thing. You want it to be sensitive. I can imagine if you're used to playing, let's say, a heavier piano, like a firm Steinway grand, coming to this, for the first couple of weeks, it might take a little bit of adjusting to just a lighter weight feel, something very consistent, something that just perfectly spits back what you put into it. I mean, not to say the Steinways, they're amazing and they do it too. It's just a different kind of energy transfer, different feel, takes a little bit of time to get used to. A couple things I want to go into on this piano that make it really nice from a player's perspective. One is going to be the music desk there. One thing that you might notice is it is grand style music desk, which is really, really nice. One of the effects of that is it's going to place the music right at eye level, which, especially, if you're a full-grown adult, is going to just be much more comfortable. I felt much more comfortable reading music off of this than, a more standard traditional kind of desk. And I'll show you what that looks like on the K800. Another thing that you're going to notice, these keys here, you might see that they're not exactly perfectly white. That's because they're NEOTEX ivory keys. So they actually are meant to be, kind of like ivory, just a slightly little bit off white, and they are very grippy in a very good way. They're moisture absorbing, and overall, they're just one of the very best key feels that that I've had on an upright piano. So it's a really nice thing. The K800 has that as well, but a couple other things you might notice, even compared to the K800, this guy is wider. I believe about 1.5 inches wider, which just gives even more sound for the larger piano to resonate. So that just adds to the volume and the fullness of the sound. Looking inside on any Kawai upright, if it's made in Japan, it'll tell you right there, made in Japan. Now here, one thing you might notice are these guys. These are ugrifs. Not sure if I pronounced that right again, even though I keep looking up how to pronounce it. But essentially their goal is to keep the string alignment very consistent, keep the speaking length of the string very consistent, which in turn keeps the tone of the piano very consistent. That's one thing the K800, for example, which is just the one step down, is not going to have that this guy is going to have. Another thing that it's going to have are Royal George hammer felts. So different kind of felts being used here, and it really just adds to the fullness of the sound. Personally, I don't know a ton about this kind of hammer felt, but it's a very high quality, really nice hammer felt. And clearly it's producing great tone. Just like any other of the Kawai uprights, you're going to have a mute rail, but on this piano, it operates a little bit different. And the reason for that is because instead of the middle pedal operating that mute rail like it does on the rest of the K series, this piano has a true sostenuto pedal. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to show it as best as I can here, but essentially, sostenuto is like a selective sustain is how I like to think of it. So let's say I'm going to play this octave, then I'm going to press down on the pedal, the sostenuto. Now it's sustaining, but just these two notes. I'm going to play them again. Now they're sustained. Everything else, not sustained. So this is really nice to have. A lot of uprights kind of went and stopped using that. It is relatively rarely used in classical music, but there are a lot of genres where it is very useful, and there are moments in classical music where it'd be very nice to have. So instead of the middle pedal controlling that mute rail, you got this little lever right over here, and that is how you can play muted. And to kind of show the muted sound of the piano, it's going to be a nice, gentle kind of sound that you can play this real late at night, and it's you're not going to really wake anyone up or bother anyone. Now the nice thing is it doesn't change or alter the touch of the piano, so you can still get the same quality of practice in. Another nice thing with having that grand style music desk, by the way, is that the logo is a lot more prominent, a lot easier to see, which is really nice when you have a nice polished finish like this. You want to be able to see the logo. So one other thing that this has, in addition to the grand style music desk, it's designed to project sound in a more grand piano-esque way. And the way that it does that is with these guys. Let's see. So these are, I like to call them front vents. I'm not exactly sure if that's like the exact term for them, but these guys over here effectively let the sound project right out at you, which is a lot more like a grand piano. So when you play this piano, just perception-wise, projection-wise, that sound is hitting you directly instead of on most uprights where it's largely just coming out of the back of the piano. So that's a really nice thing to have. You also have the New England style slow close fall board with a lock as well. So to summarize, there's so many reasons, why you might be looking for just a very high quality upright piano instead of a grand piano. And here the K800 is just going to be one of the very best that you can possibly get. If you're looking for an upright that really rivals and gives that grand piano experience, K800 is one you can't miss up on. If you're considering the K500, but you try it and you just wish the sound was bigger, or you wish the music desk was at a better level, or you just love the concept of these front vents, I mean, they really make a huge difference, then the K800 is going to be the perfect piano for you. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Max, again, with Family Piano Co. And if you like these kinds of videos, please like us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're hoping to keep it growing and put out a lot more piano related content for people. If you want to send me an email, please do, max@familypiano.com. And I'm more than happy to help out however I can. So please send in some questions for me. All right, thank you very much for watching.